the late 1990s, we got advised of our terrible rollover record for logging trucks. So we got called to account for our actions, and as it was our problem, we had to fix it.
Over recent years, the logging industry's safety record has gone from being one of the worst to one of the best. A 65% reduction rate in logging truck crashes and a 75% reduction rate in rollovers. They're great stats. So how did they do it? The log truck driving population were ageing, which raised concerns.
We were suffering a lot of heart attacks and strokes. We had to come up with a plan. So we developed this health and wellness project, and it's been running now for 6 months, and we've seen some very, very good results.
Another day at the office.
I know over the years I've changed my way of eating and living. I know people laugh at me, but I try and walk 25 k's a week just to keep fit. And I've lost a fair bit of weight and I feel a lot better for it.
We identified 3 areas that needed work on, and that was education of the drivers, engineering of our equipment, and operations and logistics, which is the way we worked our trucks within our fleet.
In New Zealand, police figures show that between 2003 and 2006, 19% of truck crashes in general were influenced by driver fatigue. This has prompted a focus on the importance of rest.
How's the road, see?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Both drivers and employers have a role to play in better management of fatigue. A professional driver knows that fatigue has the potential to cause a crash and will ensure their lifestyle avoids it. Professional employers know that policies and scheduling can contribute to fatigue. The work time and logbooks rule, introduced in the late 1980s and revised in 2007, provides a framework for controlling work-related factors that can make you fatigued.
CVIU have been working really hard to how to make things easier for our drivers to operate, e.g. the logbooks, far more user-friendly than they have been.
Logbooks are important, and the basic principles of them are to protect the driver and members of the public from fatigued drivers falling asleep and crashing their trucks. The fatigued driver ends up driving like a drunk driver.
Before we even leave the yard, the logbooks are always filled out. Your start time, your date, your correct mileage. Really, the logbooks have come a long way since I started driving, going from an ordinary docket book to what we've got today. It really keeps you aware of your hours, and it also keeps the CVIU happy when everything is filled out correctly.
Logbooks must be maintained by any driver of a vehicle that requires a Class 2, 3, 4 or 5 licence.
Have you got your logbook and your licence there, please?
Yep.
Failing to maintain a logbook when a logbook is required is an offence, just like exceeding the speed limit.
It just comes second nature. When you start your truck, you do your logbook, and when you have smoko, you fill it in. And at the end of the day, you shouldn't have any hassles with it.
When I first started, a bit of a chore, but now that I've been driving for quite a while, I'm used to it.
Your logbook's either in your bag or in the truck already waiting for you. You know to do it before you move off, so it's common sense to use it.
It makes sure that everybody's on the same path. Everybody's abiding by the law. They're getting the correct amount of sleep. They're getting the correct amount of work time.
They're a level playing field for everyone. Everyone fills in the logbook, so no one should have any problems with it at all.
Work time is all the time spent performing work-related activities and includes things like the pre-trip inspection, driving, loading and unloading, maintenance and any admin type work such as filling out the logbook. Rest time is all time that is not work time. It has to be at least 30 minutes in duration and must not be spent in a moving vehicle associated with work. There are clearly prescribed times that you must rest in relation to hours worked.
The driver can work up to 5.5 hours continuously, then they must take a 30-minute rest period.
You can have a feed, have a walk around. It gives you a different feeling, you know, you're not tense behind the wheel or just concentrating on the road. It gives you time to sit down and relax and just think about your day, maybe plan what the rest of your trip's going to be. It is important to have that break.
A driver can work 13 hours in a day with 2 half-hour minimum rest periods, then they must have a minimum 10-hour rest.
If you've worked a bit late one night, you just got to start later the next day just so you get your 10-hour break, and then you just carry on from there.
The maximum cumulative work period a driver can work is 70 hours. then they must have a 24-hour rest period. This resets the clock so that they can begin another working week.
Just recapping on those main points. After 5.5 hours working, a driver must rest for at least 30 minutes. A working day can be no longer than 14 hours, including at least 2 30-minute rest breaks. This must be followed by a rest of at least 10 hours. After 70 hours work and rest is accumulated over consecutive days, the driver must have 24 hours rest to restart their working week. As a truck driver, you will use a general form logbook which is produced in either a 2-copy or 3-copy format. Employees must use the 3-copy format. This ensures they have their own record to refer to, as well as a copy for the employer and one for the enforcement officer. Each day, as soon as he starts work, Gary records his name and the date and the time he starts work. At the beginning of a cumulative work period, the last 24-hour rest period must be shown, and you must also account for days off in the logbook. Using the activity grid, Gary records each place he goes to and notes the times and locations of his rest breaks. If you are required to maintain a logbook, you must complete all of the mandatory requirements outlined on the card within your logbook. You must also complete each page of the logbook. If you are an employed driver, you must remove each record copy at the end of a cumulative work period and hand it to your employer within 14 days.
See how sheets work?
And there is nothing to stop smart operators from using the information collected in logbooks to improve their operations.
A lot of roadworks around there.
Yeah.
So getting towards the end of the week and the logbook is getting quite full, then our truck dispatchers can just reschedule their trucks and make an easier trip. Yeah, logbooks are just another tool that can help us to manage the fatigue side of the business.
There's enough people out there now who are willing to help you, from OSH departments to your boss to CVIU. I've had CVIU come to my house and instruct all my drivers. It's common sense, it's easy, you can't go wrong with it, and at the end of the day you're the one going to pay the fine, not the boss.
Hey, no one likes paperwork, but the logbook is a big part of a proven safety system. It's a no-brainer to include it in your everyday routine.